What's up, San Antonio? GSG Nation is back. The San Antonio Spurs are back home. And what a way to return home with the biggest win of the season over the Oklahoma City Thunder. 132-118. It was an incredible game. We were in attendance last night for that incredible win. The arena was electrifying. It has not been that loud all season for sure. I don't remember the last time it was that loud. Had to have been the last time we made playoffs, maybe, and maybe even before then. Maybe like during the last of the Tim Duncan era. But it was insanely loud last night. What a great time. We were in attendance. And dare I say, I believe the Rookie of the Year race was determined last night. I think that race has been put to bed. I think it is over. Us Spurs fans know it's over. We know who the Rookie of the Year is. It was all determined last night. And Wemby should even be considered for Defensive Player of the Year. And he should be the #1 candidate as well. But we'll get into that later into today's episode. Again, it is just a beautiful day in San Antonio. What a great win. Electrifying crowd last night. It was so fun to be a part of that. Incredible. Wemby just making history. The team just playing like a full team. Our dynamic duo just shining. And then the supporting cast just doing what they needed to do to help get us that win. Absolute team effort with superstar play as well. So much fun to watch. We were even able to catch up with Zach. You may know him as the Spurs Way on X. We'll get a word from him later into today. So let's go ahead and get today's episode rolling. Okay, let's start off with what we witnessed last night from Wemby. First of all, we witnessed something that's never been done in the history of the NBA. Wemby was the first ever with 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks, and 5 three-pointers in a game. The very first ever to do that in the NBA. I mean, that is just insanely incredible. I mean, this guy really is an alien. Aliens exist. He's from another planet. They came as Wemby, and Wemby is a Spur. But yeah, no, just incredible play last night. I mean, I can't believe just what we witnessed. I mean, I can't believe it, but also too, I mean, just to think about this guy is only 20 years old, barely scratching the surface of his talent. There really is no ceiling for him. And I mean, let's just admit, like, Wemby's absolutely the Rookie of the Year. Last night's game was like the battle for that. I mean, both Wemby and Chet knew it. The Spurs, Oklahoma, they knew what they were battling for. And I'm sure OKC came in thinking, they were going to hand us our asses, but that didn't happen. And it's just from the jump. I mean, the Spurs were in it. They were focused and just competitive and just taking it to the Thunder, especially Wemby. I mean, we're just gonna stick to Wemby and Chet right now. And Wemby was absolutely just taking it to him. You could really tell that this guy, they do not like each other. And honestly, I think Wemby doesn't like Chet more than Chet doesn't like Wemby, which is awesome for us. I mean, to be on that side of it, I'd rather be on that side of just the aggressor. And I just love the competitive fire that the Wemby brings. I mean, my gosh. And that block on Chet, I mean, done. That sealed the deal for the Rookie of the Year race. Had to have. I mean, Wemby doesn't end the game with better numbers, making NBA history, getting the W. I mean, that was literally like the final case right there. So us Spurs fans know that our boy, absolutely Rookie of the Year. It's not even a competition anymore. It's not a question. It's out of the question. It's done. Honestly, there's absolutely no reason why Wemby shouldn't be the #1 candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. There's no reason. He's leading the league in blocks. And yes, blocks is playing defense. Granted, the team's record is horrible compared to, other candidates' teams, but this award is not a team award. It is a player award, individual player award. And if we are going to take the team's record into consideration, well, then that's the only argument that anybody that's not a Spurs fan has on Wemby now for Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. The only argument against Wemby now is, well, what about his team's record? What about his team's record? And that's it. That's the only case against him. And again, these awards are not team awards. They're individual awards. So that's really not even a valid argument. It shouldn't be considered. And the thing is that you could take Wemby and put him on these other teams, and all those teams are going to have better records this year with him as a rookie. So that in itself should say, like, okay, this guy really is just a defensive stalwart. He's, no matter where he goes, he's going to make defenses better. So how is that not the best candidate for Defensive Player of the Year? Somebody who you could take him, put him on any team, and he's most likely, he's going to make that team's defense better. So I don't really see there being any valid reason as to why he should not win both of these awards. And just watching last night's game too, if you noticed, and other games, it wasn't just last night, and it's not just the Thunder, but it's all other teams. I mean, Wemby's getting doubled to triple team every single time he touches the ball. Yes, they all know he's the number one option. If we could stop Wemby, we're pretty much going to stop the Spurs this year. And that's a known factor. But the thing is that he's so good and he's going to get better that, teams are still going to want to keep double teaming and triple teaming him. And if you look at teams when they play against, Czech, they're not double teaming him. They're not triple teaming him. He's being guarded one-on-one. And last night, the Spurs were guarding Chet one-on-one. We weren't double teaming him. We weren't throwing him into traps. Like, no, it was just one-on-one defense with everybody. Whereas the Thunder were playing pretty much like some sort of triangle zone in the paint. I mean, it was literally they formed a triangle defensively in the paint when Wemby was in. And there was a lot of times too where Chet didn't even guard Wemby. And I didn't understand that because, I mean, they're putting one of their smaller players on Wemby, and it just didn't make, it didn't make any sense. Like, why would Chet not be guarding Wemby one-on-one? You know what I mean? I mean, he's talented enough to do so. So, like, why wasn't he doing it? Why didn't they allow him to do that? So, with that, like, that's another case for Wemby just being more in the front running for Rookie of the Year. Just how teams are having to guard him, because that's how dominant he is and how dominant he's going to be. Is that, I mean, they're already throwing double and triple teams on him. We're sticking to Chet here just because we're talking Rookie of the Year award, but they're not doing that to Chet. So, that there's a huge difference already right there. And it was nice to see the team feeding Wemby the ball, waiting for him to gain position in his spot and just running the offense through him. And last night we just saw a glimpse of what the future could bring and just how dominant Wemby really can be. Now, like, back to the point of like how they're double teaming and triple teaming him in the paint. I mean, once we get some shooters on this team, they're not going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to throw 2 to 3 guys on Wemby. Either, they're going to have to pick their poison. Are we going to let Wemby just get a dunk on us, or are we going to let them shoot an open 3? Once we get the shooters on our team, I mean, man, it's over. Again, like, Wemby is going to be so dominant in the paint. We're going to start the offense, run it through him, feed him the ball down low, and then have him make the decision of, all right, am I just going to take this to the basket, slam it over somebody, Or are they going to bring a double or triple team to me and I'm just going to kick it out to the open three? Because, I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen in the future. He's going to be so dominant that, we're going to upgrade this team. We really are. We're going to get shooters. And once we do, man, we are going to be killing it. But the passing is still something that can be worked on. Still, there were a lot of bad passes. Still, guys, really just passing it way too low for Wemby. We shouldn't be passing it to his stomach or to his chest. Like, we got to be throwing it up there, like letting the big man go get it. And but we did do that a couple of times. So, it seems that the team's working on it. I think that they're going to continue to work on that, especially throughout the offseason. Something that they're not going to be used to is probably having to practice a high passing drill, something you don't usually practice. But I think that they'll make that part of their routine. They really should, because especially on those inbound plays, like, I mean, we were almost at half court inbounding it, and we threw it up just high to Wemby to go get it. He gets it, and I think he got the and one, or he got a foul called for 2 shots. So that play could be very successful, is just throwing it or just lobbing it to Wemby from the inbound. And the Spurs have the luxury to be able to work on a play like that. I mean, not a lot of teams have guys that big that they could just practice that play on, but we do. And I think that they should absolutely make that part of their routine, make it one of their inbound plays, and really just take advantage of the size. Well, Wemmy's really just barely scratching the surface of what he could be. A lot of times, last night there was turnovers that he had where he's just moving a little bit too fast, tripping over the ball, tripping over his own feet. So once he just slows that down, gets better footing, like, what are we going to see? There's just so much that he's going to be able to do. And it's insane. And what I love most is that he does love being a Spurs. He really does love being in this city, a part of this team. He wants to bring this team up back to its glory days. And I really don't believe that he's going to go anywhere. He's not leaving. I'm telling you that right now. He's not leaving. And our front office is absolutely going to make the roster updates that are needed to be a contending team again. We're not just going to run it back with the same roster, no upgrades. Like, no, we've already seen, Pop starting to bench players that aren't performing, which is exactly what he should be doing, because, guys really do need to get their heads out of what. So he's starting to bench those players, and they're starting to see, like, hey, if I do not contribute, I may not be part of this team. So I do believe that the front office is going to make roster upgrades. There's a lot of upgrades that we need to make. And, at the beginning of the season, I felt that maybe we could run it back again with, more pieces, but kind of just seeing where we're at right now, there a lot of pieces that we need to, replace and just upgrade on. And I strongly believe that the front office will do that. There's been no indication that they can't, no indication that they're going to botch this. The Kawhi Leonard situation it's not a valid point in this argument, because we would have got Kawhi anything that he wanted, but what he wanted to do was be in LA. So we would have got him anything and everything he wanted, except we just couldn't uproot the team to LA. And so I really think that, it wasn't because the front office wasn't doing a good job and he didn't believe in the front office. He just wanted to be somewhere else, and he got his way out of San Antonio. But no, Wemby wants to be here. Clearly, last night after the game, during his speech, you could feel it, you could see it, you could hear that he loves being here and he wants to stay here. So I strongly believe that he's going to be a Spur for life. There's really no doubt in my mind. Now, yes, if the roster doesn't get better and if we stay a losing team for seasons to come, or if we stay a losing team throughout his whole like rookie contract, yeah, then okay, yes, I see him wanting to leave, absolutely. But who wouldn't want to? It would make sense, yeah. If we're not getting better, then why stay? We wouldn't blame the guy. I know nobody would blame him um for wanting to leave a bad situation, but I don't think that that's going to happen. This is just year one. Individual players are already showing growth and improvement. Trey Jones may be the most improved Spur of the season. We're seeing Devin Vassell just play incredible alongside Wemby. That's really, our current dynamic duo. It'll solidify being our dynamic duo if they can continue this play through the rest of the season. If Wemby and Devin can continue to play dominant the remainder of the season together with one to minimal off games, I think we could put in concrete that we have our dynamic duo for going into next season. So just, shout out to Zach Collins. Oh my gosh. Struggling all year, but to just when it really mattered the most, it wasn't a must win for us, but it almost like just felt like the guys were playing like that. But shout out to Zach Collins for just really coming out, man, and just balling, like going from struggling all season to just balling out, being a major contributor to last night's win. Great job. All of the Spurs fans were just really happy to see that for you, man. And I know that everybody's just shouting you out today in San Antonio. Overall, great team effort. I mean, Jeremy Sohan just having a huge 20-plus point game. I believe he ended the night with a double-double as well. I have to look back at that, but man, outstanding play. You could just tell that his head was in the game last night. And, he was just focused, aggressive, smart with the ball. He didn't seem to rush his play. He was playing with control. So that was just, man, we really needed that. We needed all the contributions last night that we got in order to win that game. And, Oklahoma City Thunder being a great team. I cannot wait to have many, many games like last night against them over the years. I'm so excited. I hope last night was just the beginning of what's to come with that series. Would absolutely love to rival with them for many years, and I think we will go that route. Just, the whole team needed to be on their game last night, and they were. Incredible job. Us fans could not be more proud. Wow. Shout out to Trey Jones for an incredible game and just really hitting some big shots for us last night. And big three-pointers that he was just nailing, and it just brought me back to the days when I was watching him at Duke in close games. And, I saw him hit big shots at Duke, and it just brought those feelings back last night when I was watching him hit those big threes. Like, wow, man. Now, I hope the Spurs can continue to play like that, finish the rest of the season strong. I think just last night, it's something that, we're all ready and excited to see. So hopefully we can finish strong. I think the most important factor for us at the to finish is we need Devin and Wemby to just finish this season strong, playing strong alongside each other, having big games, no matter the outcome of the game. I think the most important thing is that they can continue to keep up their play and leave this season as our dynamic duo going into next season. I think if we can get that going the rest of this season, I think us Spurs fans can take that as a win. I think that'll be acceptable, and we get into the season just happy, excited for them to continue their careers here as a Spur. And I know we're all excited for, the upcoming drafts and just to see what moves we make on the offseason. All right, I think it's time. Let's go ahead and listen to a quick word from Zach, the Spurs way, and let's see how he was feeling last night at the game.
What's up, Spurs fans? We are back at the Frostbank Center. It's halftime right now for the Thunder Spurs game, and I'm here with our dedicated Spurs fan, Zach. You also know him as the Spurs way. How you doing today, Zach?
I'm doing well. We're winning at halftime. It's the first time I've seen that in a while, so I'm in a good mood right now.
Yeah, no, man, me too. We're actually competing, and it feels really good. How hyped were you before the game?
So. I'm 0 for 21 in the arena the last 21 games.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, I come in here and I'm like, do they really want me in here? But I'm with my dad, so it's a great time. Can't complain.
Awesome, dude. I'm with my dad too, so it's kind of like we're trying to start a tradition. Season tickets, our first year.
Love that.
Yeah,
Love
awesome,
that.
man. How long you been coming to the games?
Since I was a kid in diapers, they used to sneak me in. They used to say, "Act like you're asleep," and get me to the Alamo Dome for free. So,
Oh, bro, love it.
way back in the day. So
Awesome.
we've been season ticket holders for 30 years, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
Great, dude. Awesome. Yeah, me too. Hopefully we can keep that tradition up. So what do you think of this Wemby Chet matchup right now?
It's pretty interesting. It's back on right now. They're actually going at each other. Chet started hot. Wemby got going there in the second, so we'll see what happens here in the second half.
Yeah, I know, man. Really, you can tell that like Wemby and Chet are kind of really going at each other, and Wemby's really trying to take it to him. What are you looking for in the second half for the Spurs?
Hitting some more threes, maybe stopping Isaiah Joe from shooting wide open threes. He's gotten 5 wide open looks. That's killing me right now.
I know. But, yeah, so I know the game's starting, and we're on right now. Before we go, though, kind of how optimistic are you for the future?
Way too optimistic.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. I love it.
Through the roof.
No,
this year might suck, but the next 10 are going to be great. So I'm all
I
good with
agree.
that.
Great, man. Before we go, can I get a Go Spurs Go?
Go Spurs, go.
All right, Spurs fans, that's all for today's episode. Be sure to keep up with GSG Nation on X at GSG Nation Talk, on Instagram and TikTok at GSG Nation, and GSG Nation on YouTube. And remember, go Spurs, go!